let us bring our attention to these particular bar charts. Focus on the shaded in, the dark one, the black one, part of the bar chart. This is the result of, and this is quite amazing, is just simply rinsing one's mouth out with a carbohydrate solution. In this case, an odorless, colorless maltodextrin. And I want to reiterate, nothing is swallowed. They rinse their mouth out and spit it out. Now, this power result in these particular bar charts, we're looking at basically peak concentric power, peak eccentric power, average force, and total work, is the result of basically training, then towards a certain part of the training, then basically rinsing their mouth out with this particular maltodextrin. Simple. That's all it is, actually. Maltodextrin solution, 6.4%, and nothing else to it. And there's some interesting hypothesis of why this works particularly well. Now you think about, well, it's carbohydrates, whatever it is. Remember, again, it's not consumed. So they're rinsing the mouth out just once during the workout, and then they spit it out, and it yields these incredible results in regard to power. In this case, Romanian deadlifts. Now, let's get right into the study as follows, because it's quite intriguing. Because those with a competitive nature, or your competitor, may take this information to heart quite effectively. So just keep in mind, if looking to increase power, even if you're on a low-carb diet, you're not basically consuming the carbohydrates. So with that in mind, let us proceed with this incredibly cool, a hack in regard to increasing strength, endurance, and so on and so forth down the line. There's a backstory to this where they did it with other types of exercise as well, and they were able to repeat the results quite effectively in those areas. And this is the first case where they wanted to go basically with strength. In this case, once again, to repeat Romanian deadlifts. To proceed, carbohydrate mouth rinses before exercise improve performance of Romanian deadlift exercise, a randomized crossover study. The abstract explains it quite well, and then we're going to go a little bit into the methods. So bear with us, bear with me. Participants were employed in a double-blind, randomized crossover design to divide participants into carbohydrate mouth rinsing trial, from now on known as CMR, and placebo. After warming up, participants used a 6.6% maltodextrin, 6.4, 6.6, who's counting, carbohydrate mouth rinsing, whatever, or mineral water, your placebo, to rinse their mouth out for about 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Next, the participants underwent test of maximum inertial Romanian deadlift resistance exercise, comprising of 5 sets of 6 reps with 3-minute rest between sets. After deducting the first repetition of each set, the mean values from the 5 sets were analyzed. Results: the concentric peak power of the carbohydrate rinse trial was significantly higher than that of the mineral water. The eccentric power of the carbohydrate trial was significantly higher than that of the mineral waters again. And the total work of the carbohydrate mouth rinse trial was significantly higher than that of the mineral water once again. Conclusions. These findings demonstrate that mouth rinsing with carbohydrates before exercise can improve concentric and eccentric contraction strength in multi-joint resistance exercise performance. It's quite amazing. But to proceed, methods. We'll take some excerpts from this just to give you an idea. They took 6.4 grams of colorless or odorless maltodextrin in 93.6 milliliters of water. The mixtures were then adjusted to a 6.4%, I know I saw 6.6 prior, but who's counting, maltodextrin solution for the participants to rinse their mouths, followed by spitting it out into a designated container. So again, not consumed. Quite interesting. It really is reminiscent. Remember about 2 years ago, we did a study in regard to pink drinks, that runners that drank just basically a solution that was pink. Again, for reasons unknown to us, but the outcome was as is, we're able to run faster and further. But again, let's go into the hypothesis of why they may think this works in particular. Carbohydrates may improve performance during initial resistance exercises through 3 mechanisms. First, the chemoreceptors from the tongue and oral cavity are stimulated by the carbohydrate solution in the oral cavity. They carry a message to the nucleus of the solitary tract and act in the ventral posterior thalamus of taste, which transmits neurons in the insular cortex and excites the motor cortex. Boom, stronger. Second, carbohydrate in human oral, simplified version. Human oral cavity produces central neural responses, including the activation of the insula, frontalis, orbital frontal cortex, and the striatum, which comprises the reward and motor control areas of the brain and thus improves motor performance. Kind of Pavlovian, but biochemically. Third, they observed that gargling with the carbohydrate solution before short-term high-intensity bicycle sprints, said again, this is something that's been repeated often, significantly decreased the fatigue index. Studies have also demonstrated that mouth rinsing with a carbohydrate solution can increase pleasure through the gray matter of the spinal cord, wrong part, lamina, therefore mitigating the effects of perceived exertion, RPE, improving motor neurofeedback related to emotion and motivation, and increasing power during exercise. How sweet. And now, to conclude, no pun intended, the main finding of the study is that mouth rinsing with a carbohydrate solution before RDL, Romanian deadlift resistance exercises, significantly improved eccentric power average force, peak speed, and total work. The results suggest that simple mouth rinsing with carbohydrates before short-term high-intensity exercise improves exercise performance. I'm trying to prevent my New York accent from coming out. Subsequent studies can explore female participants and use other training equipment to obtain experimental results on the effects of the carbohydrate mouth rinse on efficacy in moderate and short-term high-intensity exercises. So I don't want to use the word hack because it's so overly used. But however, though, if you're looking for a short-term power boost and a relatively simple method, simple procedure, and let's say, for example, you just got done running off the treadmill, not to try to have publisher bias, just giving it to particular scenarios, or whatever it is, you're running from the field, you're doing some intensive training, and now you got to go climb walls or whatever it is. You don't want to drink a lot of water, but you need that extra boost of energy. So all you were looking at basically is saying, hey, whether a flask, canteen, whatever, you rinse your mouth out, 20 seconds, spit it out, and then you go back on your way, and you should yield an additional power boost if the outcome of these particular studies is even validated further. But again, it is randomized crossover double-blind study is actually pretty good. So it is really a cool way to enhance performance and get over that additional edge that may be stuck at per se. So still, you have to give credit to the researchers. Pretty cool overall. And once again, I am humbled you watch and look forward to see what you and I may share next week. Catch you all next time. See you then. Bye.